exerted appropriate level of discipline, because I've been known, as people felt that it was required to talk about my service, I've been known to stand up and ask them to sit down. So if you ever get comfortable people talking about you, I suggest that you need to get a grip on your ego. And sometimes you feel that the only appropriate thing to do is immediately die and have them use that as your obituary. I was very appreciative and very humbled to see Secretary Gates and what a tremendous lead-in to your presence and what this organization represents. I had the privilege to work with Secretary Gates 2 times during his tenure of the Secretary of Defense. One was when our current Secretary of Defense, Jim Mattis, was my 4-star boss, and I was his 3-star deputy. And then my last 2 years on active duty, I spent in Afghanistan in command as a lieutenant general. And amazingly, went through 3 secretaries of defense, Secretary Gates and Secretary Panetta and then Secretary Hagel. My personal foxhole opinion of Secretary Gates is he's an extremely honorable man and a gentleman, and it was an honor to serve for him and with him. As I was driving into MTSU yesterday, I got behind a vehicle and it had the proverbial bumper sticker. You know how people try to compartmentalize life into bumper stickers, and always trying to provide an easy mathematical answer to the complexity and uncertainty and challenges of life. But this bumper said, "Proud parent of an Eagle Scout." And I hadn't seen that bumper sticker before, and I wanted to speed up just a little. Speed up and get alongside the car and wave and shout and clap, and then I figured they'd probably think I was road rage or something, so I decided that probably wasn't the appropriate thing to do. But I want to talk about the impact that Scouting handed on me. Here's my Boy Scout book, vintage 1964. As stated, I was awarded my Eagle Scout in '68. Here's my sash. And you go, why in the world? I mean, haven't you got enough ribbons and dangles and lights and whistles to hang on your uniform? Why would you keep something like this? And to us, the answer is obvious. I mean, you keep things that were some of those rare events in your life that you benchmark your life, that have such a significant, profound impact on you, that change you, that when you're faced with other challenges, you revert back to that. I can tell you, I use this to prepare myself to go to West Point. I use this to prepare myself to go to Ranger School. As our honoree did, I won't ask if you're a summer or winter ranger. I was a winter ranger. Okay, so anyways, I used the field craft in this book to assist me going through qualification course to become a Green Beret. And so I love your bumper sticker of prepared for life. Because life is not a spectator sport. Life is not an individual sport. Life is a team sport. And as we reflect now upon how many of us in this room will go through a day, and at the end of the day you'll go, goodness, all I did was go from meeting to meeting to meeting, and I pray tomorrow's not like this, tomorrow will be better. And then if you really step back and you go, okay, was I a spectator in that meeting? Did I force myself to prepare for that meeting? Did I force myself to take advantage of the human dimension and the interaction in that meeting? Or did I simply sit there and hear somebody go, next slide? I got 150 and it's got a pop quiz, so we'll get to those after I finish speaking. Do you prepare yourself for the privilege to interact with people? And after attaining the Eagle Scout Award, life changes. You are no longer invisible. You don't have that luxury. I talk to a lot of people about leadership in uniform, whether it's a Boy Scout uniform or a military uniform or an athletic uniform. You take on the identity of organizations that live and breathe and succeed as teams. Even though you've got individual skills, life is focused on the success of a team. And once you become an Eagle Scout, you enter the world of expectation management. And your parents get those bumper stickers that say, proud parent of an Eagle Scout. My grandpa was a doughboy in World War I. My daddy flew P-38s in the Pacific in World War II for the Army Air Corps. They went to war, they came back. Grandpa was in World War I for 2, Daddy was in World War II for 3. I'm the only career military, but I didn't have a clue what I was getting into on the 1st of July, 71 with a draft number of 3. No, I did not go to West Point to evade the draft. So some of my classmates graduated and then all of a sudden became conscientious objectors. I couldn't figure that out. But I went to West Point for one reason. And that was, I saw the look of pride in my parents' eyes. I said, boy, I don't know what I'm about to enter, but this can't be bad. This can't be bad to do something that my parents are proud of. It can't be bad to have my family and friends go, wow, we're going to support you. And the concept of developing and leading teams is something I learned as an Eagle Scout. On my honor. What a concept this is. Wouldn't it be great if we as human beings conducted ourselves with that standard? I've lived my entire adult life in the framework of being surrounded by people that I unconditionally trusted. On any given day, I was willing to give my life for the person to the left and right. And of my 6.5 years in combat, I have had people to my left and right die for me. Not for the flag, not for democracy, for me. Die doing what I asked them to do, die doing in actions protecting me on the battlefield. I'm accustomed to when you look somebody in the eye and you shake their hand and you say you're going to do something, by golly, if you're alive, it gets done. And if it doesn't get done, you better be dead. On my honor, this foundation of integrity, to do my duty, this concept of service that began in the Boy Scouts, to serve other people, the responsibility and accountability of leadership, and how Boy Scouts allowed you for the first time to practice those skills, because they are skills and they are situational. I talk to a lot of businesses about leadership, and I'm convinced that organizations that work on leader development are better organizations, that they recognize the most precious resource they have is the human being, and that people need to be prepared for the increased responsibility of leadership. I've led everything from a 12-man Green Beret operational A detachment to a multinational interagency organizations of tens of thousands of people. And the leadership principles are the same. You meet those expectations like you do when you first become an Eagle Scout and people look at you, they examine you, they critique you, and you hope what they say is, well, of course he did that. He's an Eagle Scout. And pray that they don't say, you know, that really shocks me. I would have never have anticipated that behavior from an Eagle Scout. That preparation to be a leader, to meet that expectation that all of you have. If you reflect upon what type of leader motivates, inspires, encourages you, what do you expect from your leaders, whether they're elected or appointed? You expect them to be honest. You expect them to be humble. You expect them to listen and learn by listening. You expect them to make decisions. You expect them, when they make a bad decision, to admit it and correct it. You expect them to hold the success of the team, of the organization, above their own personal advancement. Those are the expectations. You learn those in scouting, and it prepares you for life. I have people go, General, what do you know about leadership? You're a general. You got tens of thousands of people that you just order to do stuff. You don't need to lead. You just order them. They're just waiting. And I go, wow, we really come from different foxhole perspectives. To me, the essence of leadership is the reality, and especially in combat, especially when decisions that you're making are truly life and death situations. But you can't order people to follow you. That people give you that privilege to be their leader, that they willingly follow you at times to their death, not based upon your size or your gender or your religion or your rank or your duty position. If somebody were to walk through that door right now and shoot off a weapon, it'd be real interesting to see the human dimension here of who would people look to go, what do I do next? That leadership, especially in times of stress, is informal leadership. People look to people to figure out what to do. But the essence of combat leadership is they follow you out of a sense of mutual respect and trust that you got to earn every bloody day by your thoughts and your actions. That's what scouting teaches people. And it should teach them that you've got to do that every day. And you've got to be courageous enough to recognize that the world changes every day. So are you willing to expend the intellectual energy and the self-reflection at the end of the day to go, what did I try to do today? Did it work? If so, why? If not, why? And then change. You know, Darwin's theory in my mind was not survival of the fittest. Darwin said those who adapt survive. Those who prepare themselves for the reality that the world changes survive and prosper and lead. And you represent the unconditional love and support of our family and friends, because in spite of how superb some of the individual skills might be, we live and die and prosper as families, as teams. And I thank you for that support and your kind consideration of my comments. Thank you very much.